You're listening to Australia's #1 tech podcast. Every week, join hosts Brad and Jason here on the Tech Webcast. Download our iPhone app, follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast, and visit us online at techwebcast.info. Here are your hosts, Brad and Jason.
Welcome to episode 149 of the Tech Webcast podcast, recorded on Saturday the 13th of August 2011. Tech Webcast is recorded live every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday nights at 7. Today's hosts are Brad, Jason, Aaron and Dylan. Special guest is Josh, the Melbourne Geek. How you doing, Brad?
Hey, what's up, Jason?
Hey, ready to do another show?
Another show, mate. We just got interviewed by Peter from Micro Patrol today, didn't we?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting stuff.
It was very interesting.
We'll have him on the show soon.
Yep, he's going to be on in a couple of weeks.
Sweet.
That's all booked in, ready to go. And he actually made that new intro for us. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's nice. Nice change.
Different.
Yeah, I like that intro. It sounds really good.
Yeah, what about you, Josh? You like it, mate?
Yeah, it sounds good. I'm loving the production value of it. Really nice.
Yeah, you did a good job. He's actually new to podcasting. Can't believe it.
Well, yeah, for someone that's new to podcasting, he's sure got some talent there.
He has, and he's put a lot of money into his doing this podcast too. He's bought a new mixer and stuff. And unbelievable.
That's the way to do it.
It is indeed. So, Jason, what's been happening, mate? Any news you want to report on?
Not a lot new with me. How about yourself?
Not a lot new. The new Boxy Box app came out for the iPad.
Like I said, it should.
Yep.
On a previous Tech Webcast.
Love it, mate. About time. And
what sort of stuff can you do with it?
Oh, you can do AirPlay. You can watch videos from it. You can share media from the computer and play it on the iPad and that sort of good stuff. Pretty cool.
What's the cost of it in Australia?
One at a time. Go ahead, Josh. Yep.
Yeah, what was the cost of it in Australia
for the
Boxy Box?
The Boxy Box itself, the device is about $250.
Okay, cool.
And the app is free to get on the iPad.
How do you compare it to like the Apple TV? Have you used both?
Well, Jason's got an Apple TV, so the Boxy Box is, I personally think, is better value. But yeah. I don't know, but that's up to Jay. I don't know what do you reckon about the Apple TV, Jason?
I like it. I haven't done a lot with it, but I haven't had a Boxy Box to compare, so I can't really say.
Yeah, no, but the Boxy Box is great. You can watch TV shows and movies, and there's great apps on there and stuff, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, so
are you saying the
have,
app is just to control? Is the app just to control the Boxy Box, or does the app have all the functionality of the software in it?
Sort of. You can share videos. You can watch later. You can push the video to the TV that you're watching on the iPad, and
okay,
it's pretty good. Yeah, it's AirPlay. It's called AirPlay. And
now I just need an iPad and a Boxy Box.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah, there you go. That's you need them two, and they're actually giving away a Boxy Box and a iPad, I think. So you may want to enter that and try and win if you can. But Dylan, you actually got an Apple TV, mate. We're actually looking to see where that is. So you actually be getting an Apple TV.
I will be getting an Apple TV here soon. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be able to watch all the video podcasts I usually watch on the computer. And I've got really nice monitors here, and it's certainly not complaining about having to watch HD video on my monitors here. But it'll be nice to watch all my shows on the TV.
Definitely, mate. And people have been asking where you've been.
Where have I been? Well, I was in jail. No, I'm just kidding. Just keeping busy, working, the usual. Just haven't had a whole lot of time to come and do shows like this, but I'm trying as hard as I can. Got to make more time and do more of this stuff, but I'm not going to be doing any of my own podcasts anymore. I'm going to focus on a lot of YouTube stuff in the near future.
Cool, man. Cool. And also got Aaron from Aussie News. How are you, mate? Aussie Tech News.
Hey mate, how you going?
Hey, good buddy. What's up? What's the news with you?
Development-wise, I've been building Facebook apps this week, which is interesting because
cool.
In the world of Facebook apps, you're always learning every 6 months because they change it all the time. So
nice.
It was good to develop that skill set, actually. I sort of hadn't done it the new way, but that was pretty cool. I built some stuff for the Gold Coast Suns, the AFL team.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And
nice.
And news-wise, there hasn't actually been a lot of interesting tech news this week. Just a lot of rubbish that isn't true. So I've been sort of sorting through that, and there hasn't been a hell of a lot to write about. But there has been a few skips, like with the Google Apps have released the Google Plus look and feel.
Yeah, the
now and all
games
that for
the games
Gmail and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I picked up on a few of those, but that's about it for me.
Cool, mate. All right, we got Josh from Melbourne Geek. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks.
What do you do, mate? What do you do on the internet?
Yeah, so Melbourne Geek is a video show and blog. My background's video production. I have a corporate video production business.
Okay.
But Melbourne Geek was just a side project initially, but I seem to be putting more and more time into it. And it's just a blog and video show dedicated to the geeks of Melbourne.
Good stuff. And how many you have working with you?
So I'm a sole trader. I work on my own, but I have freelancers that come in and help with my corporate video work.
Cool.
Currently with the blog, a lot of that's just volunteers, people that I've met through writing courses and that sort of thing. But yeah, just at the moment, just building up the blog and writing a lot of content. So.
All right, cool, mate. And do you make money out of this, or do you get sponsorship?
So my video production business is where I'm making the money. Melbourne Geek, I haven't monetized yet. It's completely free, and there's no advertising or anything like that. But hopefully in the coming months, it's only been around for about 3 months.
Okay.
We've seen considerable growth over that time, but I think probably by the end of September, we should be able to have enough traffic to start warranting getting some sponsors on board. Oh,
cool. Good stuff. And do you watch many video podcasts at all?
Yeah, so this week in tech, I'm always watching the Twit Network stuff. I used to, back in the day when podcasting first, started out, I was watching and listening a lot of stuff, but I've cut it down now to just some basic ones. Dignation, This Week in Tech, Techzilla, mainly those podcasts.
Cool.
A lot of audio books too. I listen to a lot of books from Audible. So,
do you have any do you watch any Aussie podcasts? Any Aussie ones?
Oh, look, I haven't, to be honest. It seems that the way I do use iTunes a lot to gather what I'm going to be watching.
Okay.
And it seems that there is a sort of a US heavy sort of section there. But in saying that, it would be interesting to see if there's a better way of discovery on the Apple TV to find Aussie-related stuff, in particular tech stuff. But I find that I've cut down the amount of tech shows because a lot of them cover the same thing. Like the amount of patent stuff that's been on in the past, like 2 weeks on the tech podcasts I listen to, it's like a lot of listening to the sort of the same stuff.
Do you listen to Tech Webcast?
Yeah, I have listened to a couple of them. Yeah, I have.
What do you reckon of it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
I'll tell you what, I know iTunes it's horrible for content discovery, and I wouldn't think it'd be much better at all on Apple TV. It's just I found trying to find new podcasts or not so well known podcasts is really a challenge on iTunes. And with Apple, I don't know why it's like that. They really need to do something about that. But if you haven't checked it out, I'd recommend looking at some podcast networks like Blueberry.com, or if you want tech podcasts, techpodcast.com, which we are a part of here.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. Any questions to Jason? Questions to Josh?
How long have you been, when did you start the site and where did we find it? We haven't mentioned that yet.
Yep, so Melbourne Geek was started in April of this year. The domain name is melbournegeek.com. Also active on Facebook and Twitter. Twitter handle is melbgeek, and Facebook is just Melbourne Geek. We've been doing a lot of coverage. I guess we do a lot of tech, but also a lot of stuff that's just geeky related. So whether it's sort of in the social media aspect, almost a bit life hackery in the style. But we've been doing, last month, the Melbourne International Film Festival was on, and we reviewed around 50 films. I didn't review most of them. It was actually, I had someone else writing a lot of them. But yeah, just a range of geek topics.
Cool.
Your shows are uploaded onto YouTube weekly or something?
Yeah, so when I do, so we've only done 2 video shows, but I'm using Blip. So it will syndicate across Vimeo, YouTube, RSS.
Same as us, yeah.
Yeah.
We use that as well. It goes Boxy Box and Popcorn Hour and things as well. So that's cool.
Awesome.
And into the iTunes.
Yep,
That's it.
very cool. Do you have an iPhone app, Josh?
No, I don't. I haven't looked into it yet. My main thing is I do normally really get into that sort of whole distribution and that sort of thing. But at the moment, my main goal is for content creation, because I do get obsessed with all the different sort of technical elements and production value and voiceovers and distribution and that sort of thing. Whereas the aim for the next month at least is focused on just building up the content. So I find that we get a lot of traffic through Google as one of our main sources. So just building up on creating good content that's that people are going to be able to find useful.
Cool, man. Cool, good stuff. And what sort of videos do you do?
So for my corporate video production business, MediaFlex, it ranges. I have clients in government, sort of the sector, small business, medium business. But I've been getting also into more online communications. Okay. So doing consulting work with clients from sort of, film productions to personal brands, and working with them to strategize a social media plan and online communications.
Do you have an iPhone and an iPad?
Yes, I've got an iPhone and an iPad.
Oh, well, good stuff. iPad 2?
No, I got the iPad 1 when it first came out. I remember, I think they only had the 64 gigabyte version in stock 3G, so I ended up dropping $1,100 or something at the time on the
typical Apple fanboy. Oh, sorry, we only have the most expensive iPad. Sure, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm sitting next to 230-inch cinema displays.
Oh my god!
in front of a MacBook Pro and a Mac Pro next to me, and my Apple TV down there. So yeah, I am an Apple fanboy, but I think it comes down to the fact that I've been using it through Final Cut Pro for about 6 years. So.
Definitely. What are your favorite apps?
I love Apple products, but the one thing I never understood was why anybody buys their cinema displays. They're double the price of Dell's that are the same amount of pixels, and it's half the price.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit spewing. I got them a couple of years ago, and they lasted really, really well. But their new LED cinema displays are a lot more reasonable. I think I paid $2,500 each for the cinema displays, but you can pick up a really nice one now for $1,200 or whatever. So.
Oh, that's not as bad.
Yeah. What about apps, Josh? What are your favorite iPad apps and iPhone apps?
The main one I'm using is Reader, which takes your Google Reader and displays it nicely in a nice user interface.
Okay.
So yeah, it's spelled REEDER, and I have that on all my Macs, on the iPhone, on the iPad. So pretty much wherever I am, if I have a spare second, I'll go on there, and I'm subscribed to probably 20 or so blogs, ranging from sort of the life hacker type stuff to people's personal blogs and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, cool. Is that a free app?
No, it's not. I think it was when it was in beta, but it's now out of beta, and I think it's I don't know the exact price. It's not that expensive. I mean, I'm using it every day. I think the Mac app is about $11.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So, Aaron, any questions, Josh?
They basically all got answered. I was interested to hear about your background and what you do outside of Melbourne Geek and that sort of stuff. I mean, what sort of got you into this line of work?
Video production work. Actually got my first ever job was in video production. I was freelancing while I was in school. I was doing at the busiest stage, about 30 hours a week on top of my schoolwork, doing video editing. Probably I started enjoying filmmaking maybe 8 or 9 years ago, or close to 10 years ago, and then started turning it into work or a business about 7 or 6 years ago. So yeah, it was just really playing around initially, and then when I first started, editing software was extremely expensive, and I just bought this handy cam, and I was thinking, okay, I would go out and start editing, and then realized that the editing software was going to cost more than the camera. So I spent the first year to 2 years of filmmaking just playing around, not writing anything. It was all just with friends, but and would edit it within the with a VCR sort of thing. But then editing software now, it's ridiculous. I mean, you can get Final Cut Pro now for whatever it is, $299 or something ridiculously cheap like that.
Yeah, thankfully it's finally at a price where just about anyone can afford it and do this kind of thing, create their own online content, and have the opportunity to turn it into a business.
Yeah, sure. I think that it's interesting. I think we'll see higher and higher quality videos coming up on YouTube too, because it is that prosumer market where they might be shooting. Like I shoot on a 5D Mark II, and you can get fantastic results. I mean, like if you compare it to like a Sony Z1 or a camera that might be $7,000 or $8,000, that used to be sort of that corporate video prosumer market. I mean, you can get awesome results with a $2,000 DSLR.
I was going to ask, what's your opinion of the new Final Cut Pro after all the hoo-ha that's been going on?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited about the Final Cut Pro 10 or Final Cut Pro X, mainly because I'd been using these super fast systems. I mean, like 8-core Mac Pro, and just been finding that the software wasn't taking full advantages of all the cores. So I was interested in Final Cut being 64-bit and all that sort of thing, and the fact that you could edit 5D DSLR footage straight out of the box. When it came out initially, it was a learning experience. It took a while to understand how it all works, because it's a complete rewrite, a complete user interface change. But I think that once Apple fixes some of the professional problems, like multicam editing isn't available at the moment, things like that, once they fix that up, I think it'll be okay. One of the other things was I guess traditionally a lot of editors started iMovie as a consumer and then go to Final Cut Pro, where my process was, when I was younger, I started on, I used a program called Pinnacle DV, which was later bought out by Avid, but that was a real consumer-based product. And then I went from that PC program to Premiere Pro, and from Premiere Pro to Final Cut Pro. So I missed the whole iMovie thing, and I've never used it. But opening up Final Cut Pro 10 for the first time, it does feel very consumery, in the sense that it does have, like, it has a magic wand, to do some sort of filter or whatever. And to me, it's something that I wasn't used to. Just like little things like that, where normally you would have all these settings and all this ability to change stuff, and then it's just like now one click. I think if it can do it well, why not? But I think there's certain cases where, for instance, people are relying too much on the inbuilt sort of audio filters to fix their audio and all that sort of thing, and I guess it promotes that whole "we'll fix it in post." But I really think that you need to get it right in camera still, because the technology is not there for you to, there's only so much you can polish a turd. So.
Now, Josh, I
had a quick question.
I got a question too, but you go ahead, Dylan.
Oh, okay. Now I am not experienced with video editing whatsoever. My experience goes to about clipping things out in Camtasia during a screencast, and I've sat there and I've watched friends of mine edit in Final Cut and all these high-end editing softwares, and I have no idea what I'm looking at when I see this. But I've always had an interest. I want to know how to do it, because I've seen these amazing creations that come out of these programs. With this new version, could somebody like me that has no experience sit down and use this software, or would I just be totally lost?
No, I think that it's the perfect time for anyone that's interested in editing to get on board, because if you think about it, all these professional editors who have been doing it for years and years and years, since the first version of Final Cut Pro, they're having to relearn all this. So there's a great wealth of info online of training and all that sort of thing. I think that, like anything, you'll need to. When I first started, I'd be looking at tutorials and all that sort of thing. I love lynda.com. So there's subscriptions there for about $30 a month. And when you think about what you get out of it, you're getting training for hundreds of different programs, from After Effects to Illustrator, anything. And I think for a geek especially, someone that always wants to be learning and finding out how things work, if you watch 10 hours of Lynda training, you could do that over a weekend. I mean, you would have a really good idea of how to use Final Cut. Where it differentiates between a professional and a consumer is what they do with the tool now, and it's knowing when to cut, and that comes through, I guess, experience, working on different projects, and reading up on stuff.
Cool. Now, Josh, I was just reading in your blog here. You actually were on MTR in Melbourne here with Glen Ridge.
Yeah. I was asked. Pardon?
How was that?
Yeah, it was great. I was asked on last week on the Wednesday if I would be on the show on the Sunday. So spoke for an hour about technology, had a few callers, that sort of thing.
Good stuff, mate. So did they just ring you up out of random and just ask you?
Yeah. So they found the blog, and their usual tech guy was unavailable. So their producer contacted me, and so I went in there, and there wasn't. I was actually quite surprised. I was expecting, a fair bit of preparation, but it was literally, we had a few dot points of the news of the week in technology, and they asked me to get there 15 minutes early. Got there, walked into the studio, and started talking. But it was a great experience. Good
stuff, mate. That's excellent. Jason, have we got any tech news today, mate?
Yeah, tech news for today.
Yep.
It costs just over $157,000 to develop, but the infectiously popular mobile phone game Angry Birds looks set to earn its Finnish developer a $1 billion stock market valuation 18 months after it sailed close to bankruptcy. The game, which pits a variety of enraged avian characters against egg-stealing green pigs, has emerged as the first blockbuster in the mobile phone gaming market. The characters have been turned into toys, featured on T-shirts, and now yearn to become Hollywood stars. The squawks of the birds being catapulted at their helmet-wearing porcine nemesis emanate from millions of phones and tablet computers on buses and in parks across the world, and the likes of David Cameron, Salman Rushdie, and Dick Cheney have admitted to being huge fans. It is the most successful Finnish creative export since the Moomin books, and potentially the country's most lucrative since Nokia ruled the cell phone market. The game was developed by Rovio, which is in talks with a major entertainment company about an investment that would propel its worth to $1.3 billion. Disney, Farmville owner Zynga, and Electronic Arts, which makes video games The Sims and Medal of Honor, are among the rumoured bidders, according to Bloomberg. Rovio developed 51 games before Angry Birds and was close to collapse in 2009 when its design team sketched the cartoon characters that would soon take on Mickey Mouse in popularity. The game was launched on Google's social networking platform this week to appeal to more users. The company has recently been exploring the prospect of a film as it expands outside the gaming sector. Rovio recently appointed David Maisel, the former chairman of Marvel Studios, to pursue its ambitions in Hollywood. A planned attack on Facebook by members of Anonymous isn't a hoax, but it's not clear how serious the threat is either. A YouTube video labelled as a message from Anonymous urged hackers to help kill the social networking website on November 5 for supposedly abusing the privacy of users. If you're a willing hacktivist or a guy who just wants to protect his freedom of information, then join the cause and kill Facebook for the sake of your own privacy, it said. However, another message from Anonymous on Twitter denounced the video soon after it began making headlines. Confused? Don't worry. As it turns out, so are the members of Anonymous. An Anonymous spokesperson told AFP the heads of the group were uncertain how seriously to take the threat, since the loosely knit collective doesn't have an organised structure and members mask their identities. I found groups of people who say we absolutely are and have a trick up our sleeves, said the spokesman. I found others that say it isn't us and this is stupid. The video accused Facebook of holding on to data people post in accounts and of even sharing some of it with law enforcement agencies. Join the cause and kill Facebook for the sake of your own privacy, it urged. The video has been viewed more than 1 million times since it began being posted 3 weeks ago. A cadre within Anonymous was evidently trying to rally cyber warriors in a Facebook attack, but the plan did not have the backing of the majority of the group, according to the spokesman. A message on an Anonops account on Twitter acknowledged some members of the group were organising Facebook attack, but that didn't mean the sentiment was unanimous. This could be as dumb as one person making a video or as big as someone having already broken into the Facebook network, said Anonymous spokesman. Facebook declined to request for comment. And speaking of Facebook, it's moving to wrest control of the SMS market from the major telcos with the release of smartphone apps which could make texting redundant. The social networking giant will launch Facebook Messenger for iPhone and Android phones in Australia following its debut in the US. The app integrates Facebook contacts with phone contacts and sends messages via Facebook or for free via SMS if the recipient doesn't have the app. The goal is for a one-stop shop for all instant messaging, whether users have a contact's number, phone book number or not. Telstra is carefully monitoring the trend, but a spokeswoman said the company did not expect an imminent move away from traditional SMS. Telstra is seeing continued SMS growth in the face of mobile social networking, despite the introduction of free instant messaging and other messaging applications. We don't see that changing in the near future and welcome new ways for our customers to communicate on their mobiles. Optus did not comment specifically on the Facebook apps, but said SMS remained a very popular product. Today, Optus offers unlimited SMS on many of its popular mobile plans, including both post and prepaid. But QUT social media expert Associate Professor Axel Bruns said the telcos were going up against the might of the biggest social network in the world with more than 750 million active monthly users. There will be a shift in the long term away from SMS if people have access to these more advanced technologies. The analogy I would use is what happened with the Telegram. It works, but at the same time it can only do that. It's not integrated with anything else. But he said texting would not disappear completely. A lot of older technology won't necessarily go away entirely, but stick around just to fill in the edges, he said. Letters haven't disappeared just because we have email. In a similar move, Apple will next month release its iMessenger app as part of its iOS 5 software update, which will enable iPhone and iPad users to exchange SMS-style messages without using a mobile carrier. And more than 500,000 Australians have forgotten to hit the send button after filling in their census forms online. Paul Lowe, head of the Population Census Program, said many households completed their e-census questionnaires but failed to submit them. Mr. Lowe said more than 2 million households logged into the online form, with more than 100 submissions arriving every second at peak time. However, 670,000 e-census forms failed to arrive. Mr. Lowe urged anyone who'd used the online form to log back in and hit the send button. I'm expecting we'll see over 8% of the households in the next few days logging back on, he said. Despite apprehensions that the online census system would be overwhelmed, Mr. Lowe said it never went anywhere near capacity. The first data from last night's census will be released next June, revealing, among other things, a contentious issue about who does the most housework. It always attracts some interest, the unpaid work, and who in the household does the most unpaid, he said. And that's the news for today.
Good stuff, Jason. What are your thoughts on the new Facebook message app? I got that from the US store, but is it coming out?
I haven't tried it out or read much about it, actually, so I can't really comment.
So you can actually, is that actually coming to Australia store? Is it coming to the AU app store, is it?
It will be soon, yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'll link that to my blog post about that. All right.
The other interesting news is that I mentioned in the news, Angry Birds is on Google Plus and a whole lot of other apps.
Oh, great games. Angry Birds, I love that game.
So you can log in. I tried the Angry Birds and it just kept on reloading and coming up with errors, so I'm not sure what's happening at my end. But,
and Jason, keep it out on an email, mate. You may be getting an Angry Bird iPad case to review.
Cool, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm getting an Angry Bird iPhone 4 case.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I just want an iPhone 4.
I want an iPhone 5. I'm waiting for a couple of months.
Oh,
yeah. Now October 7.
I don't like them. They look stupid. So
Well,
yeah,
I wanted to comment quickly on
Go ahead, mate.
that story about Anonymous trying to bring down Facebook. Look, I've never questioned anything Anonymous said it was going to do, because I've always thought, no, they're probably not going to be able to do that. And every time I say that, they pull it off, whatever it is. There's certainly a lot of them. They could do almost anything they want. Very powerful group. But this is the first time that I'm going to publicly come out and say, no, it ain't going to happen. There's just not enough. They don't have enough power. They don't have enough people. I just don't think they're going to be able to bring down Facebook with a site that has 750 million users every month and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, logged in at any time. What are they going to do? If flooding the site with packets isn't going to do anything, they're going to have to do some kind of real serious hacking here, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's possible.
There you go, Anonymous.
Anonymous
Dylan
has become a
Combs.
joke.
yeah, Anonymous, you're going to go to jail.
Dylan Combs has issued a challenge, Anonymous. He believes you can't do it. Prove him wrong.
Oh, shit.
Or
Or maybe
wrong,
just
they're gonna
take down
fail.
his site.
And Anonymous, if you want to come on the podcast, email us at techwebcast@gmail.com. And
All of them.
Yeah, all of them, yeah. And Josh, where can they find you on the interwebs? We need to go.
Where can Anonymous find me?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
melbournegeek.com. Feel free to DDoS attack it until it goes down. No, melbournegeek.com is where you can find me.
Okay.
Twitter?
Yeah. My Twitter is Josh, Josh, Janssen, Janssen.
Cool, man, cool. And Warlock, where can they find you, mate?
On Twitter, WAULOK Warlock, and Bluebilby Apps,
And
and
me.
also bluebilby.com.
Yeah, and me, Brad Oz, and Tech Webcast and Tech Luster. Aaron, where can they find you, mate?
OzTech News on Twitter, OZTech News, and OzTechNews.com.
And Dylan Combs?
Of course, Facebook.com/The Dylan Combs, and also /Dylan from the internet, Twitter.com/Dylan Combs TV, and Windows Guru 84 on YouTube, and of course the home of everything, Dylan Combs, Combs.tv.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. And this has been episode 149 and 150 next week. Jason, what do we got planned, mate? Funny show, fun show?
Yeah,
or
we've
what?
got an interview coming up.
Oh, we do too, yep.
Yep.
Who is that?
And some losing the game.
Oh, you're losing the
Yes,
game.
he lost the game.
He lost the game, yeah. Anyway, stay tuned for next week. Thanks
See
for
you
being
next
on. Dylan, you're a legend.
Thank you.
Hi, Glenn from Aussie Tech Heads. Join Will, Eric and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date, important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30pm or GMT +10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechhead.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest-running tech news podcast.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to check out Tech Webcast on blip.tv and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes to make sure you always have the latest episode at your fingertips. Tech Webcast, Tech Talk for Geeks.